So now we are going to discuss the receiver block diagram of QPSK. So the incoming signal for this receiver is the QPSK modulated signal. So QPSK modulated signal is the incoming signal. QPSK modulated signal. So this is the incoming signal. Now then this signal passes through this path as well as this path. So here in this upper path you have a product modulator where you multiply this signal with the carrier, which is root over of 2 by t cos omega ct. Again in this path you have another carrier, which is the 90-degree phase shifted version of this carrier, which is root over of 2 by t sin omega ct. Now then you have a low pass filter or integrator. So low pass filter or you have an integrator 1 by t 0 to t dt. Here also you have a low pass filter or integrator, that means 1 by t 0 to t dt. Now then you have a decision device. So here you have a decision device. Again here you have a decision device. Then you send both the signal to a 2:1 multiplexer. 2:1 multiplexer. And you get the actual message signal here. So your incoming signal is the QPSK modulated signal, which passes through this path as well as this path. Then here you have low pass filter, you have a low pass filter, you have a decision device, you have a decision device. Then you combine these two signals by using a 2:1 multiplexer. Now suppose I consider the incoming signal is the 0 0. That means the QPSK modulated signal for this 0 0 must be minus root over of 2 EB by t cos omega ct minus root over of 2 EB by t sin omega ct. So this is the incoming signal here. So when this incoming signal passes through this path, it is multiplied by root over 2 by t cos omega ct. So when you multiply the whole signal by a constant into cos omega ct, you get minus some constant into cos square omega ct minus some constant into sin omega ct into cos omega ct. And you can replace sin omega ct into cos omega ct as half of sin 2 omega ct, and you can replace cos square omega ct as half of 1 plus cos 2 omega ct. So when this whole signal, that means this is multiplied into root over of 2 by t cos omega ct here. So when you multiply this signal with root over 2 by t cos omega ct, you get cos square omega ct, you get sin omega ct into cos omega ct. So this part cos square omega ct can be replaced by half of 1 plus cos 2 omega ct. This sin omega ct into cos omega ct can be replaced by half of sin 2 omega ct. Now after that you have a low pass filter whose cutoff frequency may be at omega c. Now you have a constant, that means as you get, so here you get minus root over of 2 EB by t into root over of 2 by t, then cos square omega ct can be replaced by half of 1 plus cos 2 omega ct into minus root over of 2 eb into 2 by this t square into half of cos omega ct into sin omega ct, so that can be replaced by sin 2 omega ct. Now this part has high frequency because we choose the low pass filter has a cutoff frequency of omega c, and again this part has a frequency of 2 omega c. So after the low pass filter we do not get this signal and we do not get this signal, so only the part left is this part, so which has a negative sign. Now if I choose the decision device have a threshold lambda which is 0, that means if we get a positive signal here, the decision device will decide the incoming signal is 1. If it receives a negative signal, that means a signal whose value is less than 0, then the decision device will decide the incoming signal is 0. So here the incoming signal is 0 because the received signal is negative. Now again the same signal passes through this path. Again the same signal passes through this path. So when the signal passes through this path, the signal is multiplied by root over of 2 by t sin omega ct. So if this signal is multiplied by root over of 2 by t sin omega ct, you get here minus root over of 2 eb by t into root over of 2 by t half, and if it is sin omega ct, that should be sin omega ct into cos omega ct. So you have sin omega ct into cos omega ct, so that can be replaced by half of sin 2 omega ct, and this part can be replaced by sin square omega ct. So again if we pass this signal through the low pass filter, you get only a negative signal here. Similarly, so the decision device will decide the received signal is 0. So here you get 0, here you get 0. So these two zeros are combined by this multiplexer, and here you recover the 0 0 at the receiver end. So this is the receiver block diagram. This is how the receiver block diagram works. So this is the receiver for QPSK. Now next part is what is the advantage of QPSK than binary PSK, and the advantage is the bandwidth. So what is the bandwidth of QPSK? So next part is bandwidth of QPSK. Now we have, during our previous class, we have already calculated bandwidth of phase shift keying. And how we calculate that? First we consider you have a bit, and we have seen the frequency domain of that bit or pulse is a sync pulse. Then I multiply this pulse with a sinusoidal signal, and we have seen that in frequency domain the sync pulse is moved to frequency omega c as well as to frequency minus omega c, and from that signal I have calculated the bandwidth. So if you do not understand, so go to my previous class on bandwidth of PSK or bandwidth of ASK. Now here in QPSK the different thing is you send 2 bits at a time. So the bit duration is not TB here. Here the bit duration is 2 TB. So bit duration is 2 TB. So in frequency domain it look like a sync pulse. So this is the amplitude, and here you plot the frequency. So this point is 1 by 2 TB minus 1 by 2 TB. This point is 1 by 2 TB. Now I multiply, in QPSK I multiply this signal with a sinusoidal signal. So if I multiply this signal with a sinusoidal signal having frequency omega c in frequency domain, that will look like, so this is the amplitude, then you have this signal, so this should be fc or omega c. So here you plot the frequency. So this point must be fc plus 1 by 2 TB. This point must be fc minus 1 by 2 TB. So if I plot this in hertz and if I plot this x-axis with respect to radian, then this fc must be replaced by omega c. So similarly here you get a similar kind of signal. That point must be minus fc. This is minus fc plus 1 by 2 TB. This point is minus fc minus 1 by 2 TB. So this signal we get in the frequency domain. So the bandwidth must be this portion. We have already discussed this during our previous classes. So how much bandwidth we get? So the bandwidth of QPSK equal to this minus this. So fc plus 1 by 2 TB minus fc minus 1 by 2 TB. So that should be 2 by 2 TB. So that should be 1 by TB, which is RB or data rate. So the bandwidth for QPSK is RB, whereas we have already calculated the bandwidth for phase shift keying is 2 RB. So the bandwidth needed for QPSK is half than the bandwidth needed for phase shift keying. So this is the biggest advantage of QPSK than binary phase shift keying. Now next we want to see the waveform of QPSK. So waveform of QPSK. So suppose the binary data is, suppose it is 1 0 then 0 0 1 1. So suppose the binary data is 1 0 0 0 1 1. You can consider any kind of data. And suppose the carrier signal is, it is a sinusoidal signal. So suppose the carrier signal is this. So this is the carrier signal. So here you plot time, and here you in y-axis you plot the amplitude. So you know in QPSK, in between 1 0 and 0 0 there is a 90-degree phase shift. So the QPSK modulated signal there is a 90-degree phase shift. So if there is a 90-degree phase shift, that means there is an amplitude change of, if this is the amplitude A and this is minus A, so if there is a amplitude change, if there is a phase change of 90 degree, that means there is a amplitude change of A. Why? Because if you have a signal maybe A sin omega ct, and if I change the 90-degree phase of this sine omega ct. What do you get? So if I shift the phase to pi by 2, what do you get? You will get a cos omega ct. And you know, the amplitude change between a sine omega ct and a cos omega ct is capital A. So here this signal starts from here. So here this signal starts from here So now we have 0, 0. Now next two bits are 1, 1. That means between 0, 0 and 1, 1 there is a 180 degree phase shift. So 180 degree phase shift means if I send AC cos omega ct for 0, 0, I have to send minus AC cos omega ct for 1, 1. So the waveform will be complete opposite than this 0, 0. So the waveform will be like this. So this is the QPSK modulated waveform. Now next part is constellation diagram of QPSK. So we know what is constellation diagram. We have already plotted constellation diagram for ASK, PSK and FSK. So in x-axis we plot the in phase component or I phase, y-axis we plot the Q phase component, and we have already seen that 1, 0 having a phase of pi by 4. So this point should be where you have a phase change of pi by 4. This point here should be 1, 0. Now 0, 0 is having a phase change of 3 pi by 4. So this should be 0, 0, 0, 1 is having a phase change of 5 pi by 4. So this should be 0, 1 and 1, 1 is having a phase change of 7 pi by 4. So this angle must be 3 pi by 4, this angle is 5 pi by 4 and this is 7 pi by 4. So this is the constellation diagram of QPSK.